All right. Have you got your drinks? I hope so. Let's maximize the video. And away we go. This is, of course, Kiratwig2's 2023 December, which is pretty much 2024 Dark Magician profile. Nothing's really going to change, really. Except for, I guess, some text for the format. Let's go. Tell me if the audio is good or bad.
Hey YouTube, Kiratwig here, bringing you all an update to my Dark Magician Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for December 2023. Always love updating the Dark Magician deck, being an anime favorite. I know a lot of people who are fans of this deck, and definitely do rival it with the Witch's favorite, the Dark Magician, or the Blue Eyes White Dragon from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. I'm definitely conflicted on this debate as well. Maybe I lean a little more toward Dark Magician. I always would get the Yu-Gi starter decks over the Kaiba ones whenever I would see the new ones come out in store, but still happy with the deck profile. So go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Our go-to boss monster is...
Okay, it's kind of crazy at this point that we still have to say 3DM is absolutely abysmal. Even in my ref profiles where there's 2DM, 2 red eyes, that is more beneficial than 3DM. And you might be thinking, how can 4 bricks be better than 2? My bricks are engine requirements that enable Red Eye's Insight and Red Eye's Fusion to be 6 cards that are Dragoon and DM Engrave. With a card at 6 that is that powerful, I am going to open it up. I think it's about 60 or 58% of games. At least one copy am I opening here. I think it's about that. We can check that math right now on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Probability count. Now, of course, the bricks, there's 4 bricks, so there's a chance of opening the brick too. But there is also Illusion of Chaos, which can put it back. But without further ado, let's just say 3 ref, 3 insight. So 6 copies. As I said, 58%, I was a bit off. 57.7% of opening 1 copy of ref or insight. That means close to 6 out of 10 of your games, you're going to be seeing ref or insight in your opening hand. As opposed to the 2DM, 2 red eyes. Down at 4 and 4. 40% chance you're going to open up one of them. Opening one's okay, because you do have other plays like secrets. If you're playing Thematic, there's that. But don't forget that Illusion of Chaos can also help you put one of those back if you know it's really, really bad. But ultimately, we're playing immediately 3 DM here, right? And that's going to give us that whopping 33%. Pardon me, which doesn't sound that bad, but I'm going to assume there's a DMG here too, so we can pretty much say... Pardon me once again. We can pretty much say he's going to be on this ratio, which is the same ratio of bricks the Red Eyes DM builds I play, except my bricks enable 6 cards to be amazing. These bricks enable, what, Dark Magicians to summon DM and DMG and a potential Soul Serve and draw 2. It's not as good. Not as good. He likes Kaon, that should tell you. I don't know what Kaon is, but I guess that's what the mat is. And you know what? He's had the same mat, as I said, for like 8 years, so fair. 3DM is bad. It's crazy we still have to discuss it, but yeah.
The Dark Magician with 2,500 attack and 2,100 defense. This is definitely my favorite art for the Dark Magician. I always love this one since the first starter deck and Yugi's anime art. So 3 in this card just so you have an access to your main go-to boss monster, whether it be for your fusion plays, your Xyz plays, or just summoning out this monster to then use with your many different Dark Magician spells. You have all of this available with this 3 of in the deck. Also running 3.
Okay. He's not really a boss monster, let's be real. He's more of an engine requirement, as I mentioned earlier, along with Red Eyes. DM obviously is the center of the deck, but it's still more of an engine requirement. 2 is definitely the way. Anyway, anyone who tries to validate 3 by coping with knives and Dark Magic Attack, what are they on about?
Copies of Illusion of Chaos. This card was actually reprinted recently in...
It's interesting because I always say 2, but you know what? I can see the argument for 3. Like, I'm not gonna roast people so hard for 3. You know, this card's still very good. It sucks when you have more than one and you're just like, wow, what do I do with it? But that's the nature of a rotor card that stays in your hand. But anyway, 2 to 3 of this is good. That's fine. Let's skip ahead.
2023 Megaton. So it definitely did help with the overall ease of getting this card for the cards that have it in its name, or souls, which we run 3 copies of. You can send up to 2 spell or trap cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard.
Amazing, 3 souls. I just want to pause here to look at the comments, because this is the state. This is December 2023, right? This isn't that long ago, guys. This is 4 months ago. Okay, this is a valid comment. But this is the weird part. Dark Magician loses to a single Bestial on its own turn. The deck has never been worse than it is now. Snake Eyes Ash came out, along with the other Snake Eyes cards, over 6 months ago. Who the hell is main decking a Bestial? Like, this guy just outed that he's playing like a pass format or Master Duel. Like, this is not a TCG comment. No one is playing Bestials in the TCG and hasn't since branded tier format, right? Like, this comment is so stuck in the past. I think it really shows the audience of this video or this channel. And I'm not trying to, once again, shit on casuals. I'm just saying, it's not really what we're aiming for here, right? Like, this guy's talking about a competitive format 8 months late. Like, oh, we lose to a Bestial. My guy, no one is playing him. If you're versus someone playing a Bestial, where are you playing? I don't know. And then this comment's wild. That's why you play Ghost Bell. Yeah. In DM, go and play a inferior hand trap just because you lose to a Bestial. Maybe just play Ref, guys. Maybe just play Ref. It doesn't lose to a Bestial or Ghost. Or like, okay, it loses to Ash, but nothing else, right? Okay. This comment is still absurd to me. 3 months ago, Magician Souls is absurdly difficult to get. I guess he didn't say expensive. But then someone's like, I think they mean it's expensive. Julifer literally replies saying, what do you mean? Julifer is trying to give out Magician Souls because he's kind of based like that. And then this guy's like, I think they mean it's expensive. Ectsy Proxy 10 for a playset. What? Like, okay, I'm going to bring up the market. This is in American dollars. I obviously live in Australia, so there's probably around 30 to 40-ish around where I am. This is still the cheapest Magician Souls has been. I understand it's sold out, but I'm sure you can get them locally or from like your local Facebook groups, eBay. You know, there's ways to get it, and maybe eBay will be a little bit more expensive. But Magician Souls is the cheapest it's ever been in a deck that doesn't really facilitate its effect very well. I think every other deck around us uses this card better than us. That's just the sad truth. Obviously, this card's good in DM, but I think it's just better. It's like Spiral, hello. But anyway, I digress. This card is the cheapest it will ever be. I don't know what more to say. It might get another reprint. It's had 2. If you don't have your copies by now and you play DM, I'm sorry, but I don't know, get a second job if you don't have enough money. Like, now we're just roasting people's income, which feels really bad. But I just don't understand people still saying this card's too expensive. Like, I see the crap people play in their deck. You can sell some of that crap and get yourself a good card, or 2 or 3. But hey, maybe we'll do a Magician Souls giveaway at some point, because goddamn, people need them. DM players need them. Anyway, and yeah, if you can't afford Magician Souls, play Master Duel, maybe, because that is a pretty free-to-play game. Anyway, I don't know. It's just, I understand Magician Souls on release was like $100, and that was stupid. I understand when people were like, I don't want to play it, I don't want to buy it. I was like, I get you. Wait till it gets reprinted. It's had 2 reprints now, and yes, it is still $30 to $40-ish in Australian, probably $25 in American. That's probably the most respectable. Like, we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! We're not talking about Pokemon or Digimon or a respectable card game with respectable prices. We're talking about a card game where the secondary market is very inflated. Like, that is a good price for Yu-Gi-Oh! I will say that. For other card games, probably not. But for Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a pretty good price. Like, get your Magician Souls, guys. Oh, it's also going to be available in Rarity Collection too. There you go. So, I mean, you can also just wait for that. Anyway, I thought I'd just get into that little.
You can send one level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to activate one of these effects.
I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to hear about how Magician Souls works. So let's just skip to where he plays Rod. 3 Rod. Okay, that's cool. I don't think we need to talk about Rod. It's interesting to hear what they say though, but we might just skip. Oh, actually, he's going to talk about Circle. Let's skip to what he says about Rod.
3 copies of Magician's Rod. With this card, when it's normal summon, you can add 1 spell or trap from your deck to your hand. That specifically lists the Dark Magician in its text. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card or effect while this card's in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you contribute a spellcaster to add this card to your hand, giving you recycle power to then normal summon out Magician's Rod again. But being able to search out the particular spells means that you can just continue your searches by then adding cards like Dark Magical Circle to your hand, and then using that card to check more cards, and then also have the banish play whenever you summon a Dark Magician set up on the.
Okay, it's a little depressing that we're still saying, oh yeah, Rod gets you Circle. Okay, Rod should get you Circle if you have Soul Servant. I still stand by the best search off Rod is Soul Servant. Because it doesn't matter what happens in the rest of the turn, your Soul Servant is always going to do the exact same thing your Circle would. It's just going to get you 1 card and that's it. And like, it has a higher ceiling than Circle. You could argue that Circle can add a card without DM Engrave or DMG Engrave, but Soul Servant, you're adding it because you have something to extend when you have the Magician Souls. I think Rod should pretty much always search. Best search off Rod is Curtain. That's base, Terry. Rod should pretty much always search Soul Servant, in my opinion. There are times when you want to search the Circle, though. Normally going second. Normally if you already have the other pieces. But Soul Servant should probably, if you have nothing, if you just have Rod and Souls, and no DM cards in hand, you normally want to grab Soul Servant. And there's a number of reasons we've been over this. Because if your opponent does hand trap you on the other stuff you try to do, or you get Beast in your DM and shit like that, you can at least link away that Rod into Artemis, set the Soul Servant, and know on your opponent's turn you can flip Soul Servant, stack Illusion of Chaos for next turn, and then tribute your Artemis, grabbing Rod back from grave to your hand. It is a very simple play, and I don't know what else to say. That's the go-to play I've found in the deck. It's crazy people still don't do that. I understand adding Circle and just going, oh, I hope Circle adds a card. I don't think it's very good unless you've already got the Soul Servant. But anyway. Yeah, exactly. Soul Servant can go into Mahad, which can go into Chaos Angel. Soul Servant can just go into better plays in general, right? It's just the better card. Soul Servant can literally add you Rod as well. If you open up Soul Servant and Magician Souls, of course, Magician Souls can help you get to Illusion of Chaos, Rod, etc., etc. Anyway, let's get back to it. Soul Servant is the best DM spell, by the way. But let's get back to it.
Field ready to go. For the last of the 3 ups, 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. I always went back and forth between how many of this card I wanted to run in the deck. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one card. If it's no more special summon, you can add 1 Dark Magician from your deck to your hand. And during damage calc, your other Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face on the field of the graveyard to have it gain 2,000 attack until end of damage calc. So this is...
I'll just say this, because this card, I want to say, is a bit dated. But I will say, at least the 3 Dark Magician is kind of validated by the 3 Apprentice. You know what I'm saying? Because I find when you have 2 Dark Magician and you're trying to play Apprentice, you can just not have the search anymore. Because you do cycle through those 2 DM quite quickly, I want to say. So, you know what? At least this kind of goes with the 3 DM. Kinda. But anyway, let's see what else happens.
A great way to powerhouse your Dark Magician, but also giving you a way to search it from your deck to your hand to then use for some other special summons, since a good amount of the cards that special summon the Dark Magician in the deck rely on special summoning it from the hand or graveyard. For some of the lower numbers for the Dark Magician support cards that we run in the deck, the 1 copy of Magician of Dark Illusion, this card, when summoned out, you just then grab another Dark Magician, so then you have access to your rank 7 Xyz plays, whichever ones you may wish to go into with this card.
Okay, let's just point out, he said that this card helps you get to a rank 7 play. This card, you know what card I'm referring to. Magician of Dark Illusion. Can we just point out, you summon this card on your opponent's turn when you activate a spell trap. Not your opponent, when you activate a spell trap. Me activate spell trap. I can summon this. So how is this making a rank 7? Good sir? Let's say I go first and I set 4 and pass with this in hand. My opponent plays, I flip a spell trap, I flip Solemn Strike on something. Now, on a new chain, I can summon Magician of Dark Illusion. Are you telling me your opponent is going to pass turn? Like, my opponent should be outing this. I would expect a GOAT deck to be able to out this. Unless I've got like a face down Eternal Soul. This man is playing 4 Dark Magician, basically. This card does not help make rank 7s. This card helps make rank 7s on turn 3. Turn 3. I'm sorry, but in turn 3 of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, you are dead. Your board does not exist. You can't be playing a card to make a rank 7 on turn 3. And if you're playing second, this does not get summoned until turn 4. I can't fathom this card. I agree, this is probably one of the worst Dark Magician support cards ever made. It was made at a time when summoning Dark Magician was hard. And it was made as a pretty good Navi target to summon, a defensive Navi target. It still wasn't great. But wow. If you wanted to play a Dark Magician card that makes rank 7s, and mind you, this makes them going first on your first turn. Whether you play first or second, you can make it on that turn. There's a card called Chronicle Magician. It's not great. I'm not saying everyone go get Chronicle Magician, but it lets you summon itself when it sees a Dark Magician statted monster hit the field. So anything with 2500 attack or defense, when it's special to the field or hits the field, Chronicle will summon itself along with it and boost a DM by 2500 attack or defense, or a Blue Eyes. That is 2 level 7s on your board turn 1, or 2 cards in your hand. This does not summon itself till the opponent's turn. When you activate a spell trap, not even when either player. I can't fathom playing this card to make rank 7s. You could play the Shooter Tenyi. You could play literally any Cash Tira card. Unicorn Fenry, you name it. What other cards are rank 7s that just level 7s that just play themselves? There's plenty. There's plenty, alright? This isn't it. It's not even searchable. Oh, sorry. I lie. It is searchable with Soul Servant, but I don't think anything else in the deck searches it. Diabell, is she a 7? Oh, she is. She does need like a discard, but you know, she adds anyway. But as you said, there's a lot of level 7s that will let you, if you want to make a rank 7 play, there's a lot of cards that will help you do that in Dark Magician. This is not one of them. This is, I'm making a rank 7 next game, when I've already lost. I get that it's a Dark Magician card, and you're like, oh, it's in archetype. But it's ass. It's ass.
7 Xyz plays, whichever ones you may wish to go into with this card.
Yeah, which ones you wish to go into on turn 3 and 4. Like, by the time the game's over.
The 1 copy of Timaeus, the United Dragon. This
At least the Timaeus is at 1. Thank God for that.
Is the replacement for the Eye of Timaeus in the deck, since we can use this card to go into Dark Magician the Dragonite for its fusion plays. The 1...
Yeah, that's it. You wouldn't make anything else, right? Who would need Dragoon?
Copy of Dark Magician Girl. I feel like we just need the 1 copy. It's just here for another special summon target. I would say Apprentice Illusion Magician definitely does help with more of the overall summon and setup for Dark Magician in the deck, with the last of our main deck monsters being the 1 copy of Red Eyes Black Dragon. So
I'm just going to point out that, like, the 4 of these cards, well, not so much Timaeus, I guess, because if you open Timaeus with Dark Magician, it's less bricky. But the 4 of these cards plus the 3 DM at the start, it's like 7 to 6 bricks so far, which is wild. But let's keep going. This deck was probably okay during 2017. Well, I can say I played Dark Magician and Dark Illusion on release, and you know, I played 1. I played 1, guys. And it was still kind of whatever. But anyway.
We have a monster needed to send off with Red Eyes Fusion in the deck to summon out our Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Moving on now to the spells. For our players, we're running 3 copies of Magical Circle. When it's activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you can reveal 1 Dark Magician or spell and trap card that specifically lists the Dark Magician among them. Add to your hand. Also place the remaining cards on top of the deck in any order. If Dark Magician is normal or special summon to your field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card your opponent controls. Bonus. You can use each effect of Dark Magical Circle once per turn. So you have a card that makes your opponent play around when you would summon Dark Magician onto the field, because then you'll banish one of their cards that they have on the field.
Your opponent won't play around shit. No one cares about this card. Okay, so the thing about Circle is when you play Duel Links, Circle is awesome because sometimes a +0. Yeah, exactly. Circle on Duel Links looks at a 20 card deck and adds you any of the DM cards. It's quite good. It's quite good. And there's also Duel Links skills to make DM better. So Circle in Duel Links looking at a 20 card deck, looking at top 3. We could probably do the maths at some point. Looking at top 3 in a 20 card deck is much better when you've already drawn 4 from it. So what, you draw 4 for your opening turn, then you play Circle. How many cards are left in your deck? 16? 16? Looking at 3 of 16 cards? Mathematically, you're always going to hit. Probably, I don't know, something like that. Unfortunately, in the TCG, your opening hand's 5 cards. You got 35 cards in your deck. You play Circle, you're looking at top 3. 35 divided by 3 is not looking good, Chief. It's not looking good. Some people use the argument, oh, you're just not playing enough DM cards. No, the DM cards are bad. I'm not going to play them. Circle is a bad card. And yes, Circle adding Circle is still technically better than adding nothing, but it still does nothing effectively. Anyway, this should never be at 3, kind of like DM. They should only ever be at 2 at max. 1's fine, 2's pretty alright, and 3's kind of like, well, I guess you really like the anime and being casual. I don't know.
After doing so, and then also just being able to, when it's activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal a Dark Magician or Spell Trap card. Gives you more search for some of the other cards we run in the deck, including another 3 that we run, which is Soul Servant. You place 1 card on the top of the deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard.
Now, I will say, in the past couple of months, I've been testing this at 2, and a lot of lists online have been playing it at 2, and I actually think it's fine at 2 as well. Though it is still the better of the DM spells, even though it does nothing. It does nothing. The ceiling, I always talk about this, but the floor of this card is here and the ceiling of this card is here. Like, Circle's like here, Soul Servant's here. But Soul Servant can be here, if you get what I mean, right? So, you know, there's all this in the middle room that all the other DM cards are sitting about here, except for like Dragoon, who's up here. Soul Servant potentially being a draw 4, it's never going to be that, but it can be a draw 2. I'd say Soul Servant's here at a draw 2, it's probably about here, which is much better than Circle. But anyway, Soul Servant's best use is the fact that you can just Magician Soul, send this for a draw, and then you can banish it, send for another draw. Draw it into your hand traps, draw any going second cards, draw into your side deck cards. This card facilitates drawing. We like that. It works with Magician Souls very, very well. Circle does not. But I digress. To those joining, we are doing a roasting series video. We have been missing them for a while. Let's keep going.
That is Dark Magician, or specifically lists it in its card text, except for Soul Servant. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, draw cards equal to the number of Palladium monsters, Dark Magician, and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field and in the graveyards. So this also helps to then recycle some of the cards back onto the top of the deck for you then to just draw again with them during your main phase with this card. And with it, you can only use this effect of Soul Servant once per turn, but you have that set up to then know at least what you're drawing into thanks to this quick play as well. We're also running the 2 copies of Red Eyes Fusion. We only have the 1 Red Eyes Dragoon, but this card, if drawn additionally, can be sent to the graveyard with cards like Magician Soul for draw power. So opening up multiple Red Eyes Fusion will let us at least be able to get out Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, but then have more fodder if needed if we draw the multiples. It's just in here as an added.
I'm just going to point this out. If you open multiple ref and your opponent, you go ref, they activate like Judgment, anything that hard negates it, you can just activate another one. Because its activation is once per turn. You can only activate once per turn. You can actually play as many as you like if they get Solemn Judgmented, for example. So yes, Ash Blossom does say, haha, you don't get to play. But guess what? You're playing DM. You don't play the game anyway. So, in short, why is this card the best card in the deck here at 2? Riddle me that, chat. Why is DM at 3? Circle at 3? But the card that literally summons a god, a Super Saiyan god, and puts your brick in the grave to set up Soul Servant, Eternal Soul, and everything else, is at 2. Riddle me that. God damn it. People play ref at 3.
Search option to get out that boss monster. But Red Eyes Dark Dragoon isn't the main go-to play in the deck to begin with. We're also running 2 copies of Magician's.
Oh, okay, this is stupid. What? He's playing ref and salvation at the same ratio. This man values salvation on the same level as Red Eyes Fusion. One of these cards sets your continuous trap. One of these cards summons a god boss monster and puts your brick in the grave. Apparently, they're on the same level. Apparently, 2 salvation and 2 ref. What? Huh? He just said Dragoon isn't the main play of the deck. I'm sorry, but he's just wrong. What does that even mean? Does anyone play Invoked and say, yeah, so Mechaba's not the main play of the deck? Does anyone say that? No, because they're not fucking idiots. These people are honestly insufferable. Like, what? What do you mean? Do you start the Sword Soul combo and go, oh, I don't play Chang, I don't know their names, so this is a terrible example. But the first synchro they make that searches the trap, the one that searches Blackout, someone in chat will know the name. Do you say, yeah, do you not start your combo with that? Because you're like, nah. The deck doesn't focus on that card. Sorry, guys. Yeah. It's like, huh? Yeah, the 3rd ref slot is taken up by another copy of Salvation, by the Dark Magician of Illusion thing. Like, there's so many bad cards that could be cut for the 3rd ref, but... Dragoon's not the main play of the deck, guys. Okay. What does the deck do then, Yugi boy? Because it sure as heck isn't using 2 Salvation ever. That's crazy.
Salvation. When it's activated, you can set 1 Eternal Soul directly from your deck. If you normal or special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl during the damage step, you can target one, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, special summon 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard with a different name than that monster. You can only use the effect of Magician Salvation once per turn, and you can only activate 1 per turn as well.
HCF gives members...
We're getting ads. How cringe is that?
can start winning health cover and the lowest average rate rise of the major funds.
Let me
now we're also
oh, I can skip
So
it.
you can set up Eternal Soul, which also helps for being able to special summon out your Dark Magician onto the field, and then vice versa, depending on which one you want to special summon out from your graveyard. If you have Dark Magician, then you can grab the one of Dark Magician Girl, and then vice versa from the graveyard, giving you that back and forth special summon power.
Yeah, like once again, I like comparing to Invoked. Magical Meltdown is a 3 because it adds Alistair, and you know Alistair does everything. This card sets a trap card. And you can't even activate it. What? What? Huh? We're looking at field spells like the Tier Element field spell. I can't talk. The Fenrir field spell. Cash Tira field spell, rather. And literally any field spell of any deck made post the 2020s is cracked. Every field spell I can think of is cracked. Meanwhile, we got this card that sets a trap. Okay, for those just joining us, he plays Salvation at 2 and Ref at 2. So apparently, in Kiratwig's mind, these two cards, Salvation and Ref, are of the same value. They provide the same value to the deck. My god.
Using these two cards. And then also for the one-ofs, one copy of Magicalized Fusion with all these spellcasters we can set up. We can go for boss monsters like Quintet.
Yeah, how often does Salvation's second effect come up? Never. Yeah, exactly. Kenneth says you send it for draws or for Timaeus. That is the main use of Salvation. And I'll admit, it's kind of decent for that. And that's why you normally play one. But you don't need more than one. You really don't. You really don't.
Magician, using this card quite easily. Thousand Knives as another Dark Magician search spell or trap. And then
Why?
a free destruction
Is it
of
2002? Oh yeah, Duelist Kingdom?
Having Dark Magician, it destroys all spells.
What do you mean?
The Dark Magic attack. And then also the one copy of Illusion Magic for more...
What? Why? Ref is at 2? But we gotta play Thousand Knives, Dark Magic Attack, and Illusion Magic. I didn't know we were playing Yugi's deck card for card from Duelist Kingdom. Where the fuck is Beaver Warrior and Celtic Guardian at this rate? Because they would do more than these stupid spells.
Power of our Dark Magician by tributing a spellcaster monster with this quick play spell, and then also the one copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. Now this is another fusion,
and you know how much I hate Secrets. This is the best card here. Congratulations for playing Secrets.
That you can use using monsters from your hand or field, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl's fusion material, or going for the ritual play by tributing those same monsters. So this is our one go-to way to be able to summon out the Illusion of Chaos.
How often do you ritual summon? Be honest. People always bring this up. People love to get Secrets and just slurp it up and be like, it can ritual summon, and it's like, nobody does that. And it's really bad. And if you're ritual summoning, you could probably use better cards.
Rehan super chatted $3.68, 5 Canadian dollars from Rehan. Love your content, Loza. Can't wait for the Whitewoods to hit MD.
Big thank Rehan. Thanks for watching the Whitewoods video too, that just went live. My goodness. Everyone in chat, tell me how often you ritual summon with Secrets. I can remember I've done it at least 3 to 4 times over the whole time I played DM. I don't think it's ever resulted in like a good result. The Illusion of Chaos that I've summoned has been negated, or the DM's been removed from my grave so you can't resolve the effect and the negate. It's just never worked. It's terrible. It's like a plan. It's not even a plan B. It's like a plan C. And even then, it's still bad. But anyway, let me know. And let's continue watching.
If we wish, in this deck as well. And then the last of the spells being the one copy of Call by the Grave. Just with all the special summoning we do, it's a nice one of tech compared to some of the other generic spells, just to stop any of our opponent's hand traps. Moving on now to the traps, I run 3 copies of Eternal Soul.
Holy shit. 2 Salvation, 3 Eternal Soul. 5 copies of Eternal Soul, 2 Ref. Okay.
It's searchable with the field spell, but still a very useful card. Every Dark Magician...
Listen to what Machi just said. Machi, for those who don't know, is a brilliant branded Dark Magician player here in the chat. And as I mentioned at the start of this stream, there's a lot of really good Dark Magician YouTubers now, which I'm so glad. The standard has been raised. The roof has really been raised. The floor has been raised, rather. So Machi just said, Dodo doesn't even use Secrets to ritual summon. And if you don't know who Dodo is, he is a ritual Dark Magician enthusiast. So there's 2 channels off the bat I can highly recommend. But, you know, I mentioned a whole bunch of you guys at the start because the DM YouTube content has just skyrocketed in quality. Let's be real. When I started making the roasting series, there was close to no one doing real stuff. Maybe Team Sam's List were the best at that point, which is not amazing. Everyone else was just making DM profiles for content, really. So Now people are making them with the genuine intention to win and be competitive with them, which is fantastic. I'm not saying I 100% was the reason for that, but I definitely feel like I had an impact on, I don't know, making people do that. I hope. I hope at least. Anyway.
In your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters you control. You can only use the following of Eternal Soul once per turn, and you can activate one of these effects. You can special summon one Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard. You can add one Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. So having searches for the one-up spells I mentioned before, that means you can basically go from your field spell, Magician's Salvation, to Eternal Soul, to then grabbing these cards. So more and more search power, just like we had with the Magician.
Fellas, do you ever past your opponent after activating Salvation, flip Eternal Soul, and search 1,000 Knives? Why? Why? Okay, I have a theory for how they can make 1,000 Knives the searchable con. Oh, Matt was amazing. How they can make 1,000 Knives playable, or like a version of it. So they make 1,000 Knives, a card that identifies as 1,000 Knives. It can be like 10,000 Knives, but this card's always treated as 1,000 Knives. Make a card that's a hand trap that's 1,000 Knives. It can be a spell, a trap, a monster, I don't care. But make it a hand trap. Then Eternal Soul, like you can like be bricked. You can go like Salvation set E-Soul. And then on the opponent's end, you can like flip E-Soul, search the 1,000 Knives. And then you have a hand trap, a DM hand trap. That would be sick. And it would make the searching function of this card less dead. I don't know. It sounds like a cool idea on paper. But you know, Konami will probably be like, here's a trap card that boosts your monsters by 500 attack. And it's once per turn.
Rod, and the Dark Magical Circle. Also, the one copy of Magician Navigation and the one copy of Magician's Combination for more of the special summon power off of Navigation, and also being able to stop the effects of face-up spell traps our opponent may activate on the following turn. And then also with Magician's Combination, once per turn when a card effect is activated except during the damage step, you contribute a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl to special summon one monster with a different name from our hand or graveyard. So more of a quick play option compared to the field spell that we run for the setup of our...
That's a good point. We haven't got a new Mystic box. We could always get a Mystic box. That could be cool. A retrain of that to make it a DM card. That'd be sick. These cards are pretty garbage by today's standard. I think we all know that. I think we can just skip ahead to the extra deck here.
Our card effect is activated, except during the damage step. You can draw one card, then if it was a spell or trap, you can set it. And if it was a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate this turn. If it's destroyed, you can special summon both one Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. More setup for our two go-to boss monsters using this card, then just needing Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and one Spellcaster monster to summon this card out. The one Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, to go with our Timaeus Dragon monster as well. The one Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to use with our Red Eyes Dragon and Red Eyes Fusion. The one Master of Chaos. This is a fusion card we can use for our Chaos monster, being Illusion of Chaos. And then also the one Quintet Magician, as I mentioned before, with our spell Magicalized Fusion, being able...
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Harry Senpai's comment. He said, I swear people like Kira just roll the dice for what cards they put in and what ratios. Honestly, it feels that way. When you really dissect the card ratios, it does feel that way.
To banish out the monsters needed to summon out this bigger monster.
This is fine
and
so
then for
far.
the Xyz monsters, the one Ebon Illusion Magician as more normal summon specials, normal monster special summon out onto the field, and then also a banish option whenever one of them declares an attack.
If he could actually make this on the first turn, I'd be like, yeah, sure, play it. Like you're playing Chronicle or something. He's not playing play Chronicle instead of Magician of Dark Illusion if you want to make rank 7s. Or just play a good rank 7 card like all the other ones we listed earlier.
The one number 76 Harmonizer.
Why? I know she has a cool guitar. She's just Loza as a rank 7, but like, what does she do?
Yeah, the one number 11 Big Eye, and then the one Zeus and the one Typhoon Sky Crisis for all of...
Alright, Zeus and Typhoon are great. Big Eye is pretty good. I don't know why the Harmonizer, but oh, can't be destroyed by battle with a monster. Okay, so the Harmonizer is meant to go into Zeus. I think there's a better card you can play for that, but like, yeah, alright, we'll take it.
Our Xyz monsters, and for...
Typhon is very based.
For the...
best thing in this profile.
Yeah, Link monsters, one copy of the Dark Charmer Gloomy.
Yeah, Eborn with only 2 level 7. Well, 3 DM, and then Dark Magician of Illusion for some reason, instead of Chronicle or just anything else.
One Wee Witch's Apprentice, the one IP Masquerena, one SP Little Knight, and the one copy of...
Well, he's got SP Little Knight. That's like the best card in this profile now. That's crazy. I don't even own SP Little Knight. I hope he mentions Chaos Angel as well. I don't own Chaos Angel or SP Little Knight, but I say in pretty much every profile, you should definitely play them. I'm not going to spend the money on them right now, but you should definitely play them.
Of Nightmare Unicorn for more of a generic lineup, but still some of the dark attributes that we have for our Link monsters is a big help with all of the resources that we have for some of our weaker monsters to be able to go into. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, the big setup comes down to what play you want to go for in the Dark Magician deck.
That was
if you go for the
Wait, that was the extra deck? Was that not really short? Oh no, there was a lot of XYZs. There's a lot of XYZ. Is SP better than IP? Well, you use IP to go in SP on the opponent's turn. I think SP is better. If you're just going to play one, I think it's SP, but you kind of need to play both, I would say. So, no Artemis. Let's just recap the links. No Celine, no access code. Dark, but like, where do you go to from Dark? You go on a Dark, take one of their cards, make Unicorn? No access code, no Celine? This seems very half-baked. I think you could just cut all the exes and play more links, but I mean, I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old could figure that out. Anyway, let's see this combo. This combo seems interesting.
Setup. Then you have the search power of being able to add the Dark Magical Circle to your hand, activating this card. And then you have the choice, or chance, I would say, depending on what you reveal off of the Dark Magical Circle for this play. If you can set up cards, or at least add a spell trap that can get you more plays for your Dark Magician cards, you can either add cards like your cards that specify Dark Magician in it. So if you can add Magician's Salvation, or more or less cards that can give you access to your Dark Magician cards, it's more of a better setup using your Dark Magical Circle to do so, because then you're just extending also face-up cards that will remain on the field with these cards. So Magician's Salvation can then grab Eternal Soul. But one of the bigger plays you need is to still be able to set up the Dark Magician.
Yeah, have you noticed that, like, this Rod grab Circle, Circle gets Salvation, Salvation set Eternal Soul? That's a lot of copium on Circle hitting for one. But this still isn't the triangle. You still don't have DM. It's crazy how much we need. We need that Rod to link into something that searches again.
Magician in your graveyard, and that, along with your Magician's Rod being your normal summon, is where Magician's Soul comes in handy, because then with this card, if it's in your hand, being able to send one level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to activate one of these effects. So then with this card, you send the needed monster, being your Dark Magician, to the graveyard, special summoning out this card.
Can I just say, why didn't they just make Magician's Soul say, send a Dark Magician monster in text to the grave? Like, they could have just done that, or a Palladium. That would have fixed a lot of Magician's Souls getting splashed in other decks.
And then you have your 2 needed resources on the field, including Magician's Rod and Magician's Soul, to go into a Link 2 monster option. So on top of the Dark Magical Circle and the Eternal Soul that we've set up on the field.
Check my combo. Activate Circle with Lock. Based.
We now also have our new SP Little Knight as a potential banish on the field, using the 2 monsters we summoned before, just needing the 2 attack monsters. Using the Eternal Soul the following turn, we also have the...
Wait, what are you banishing if it's turn 1? What the fuck?
Banish play with the SP Little Knight to take one of our own cards and our opponent's cards.
Oh, yeah,
power when Dark Magician summons back into the field thanks to Dark Magical Circle. And then also being able to grab back those resources the following turn. If you don't have the SP Little Knight, you can always rely
Show
on
us Rod in Grave
monster that will, increase the attack points of your Dark Magician and Dark Attribute monsters on the field as well. But then from there, you have protection in the form of Eternal Soul, and then coming down to what you have for more of your monster setup during the following turn as well. Depending on what you draw, if you can get more of a setup like Magician's Soul, again, to set up your Dark Magician Girl, or more search power in the form of Illusion Magic if you draw. If you draw into Dark Magic, you have all these search powers available to you as well if you use Illusion of Chaos to grab the specific spellcaster you may not have opened up in your hand also. But that is it for...
What a fucking muppet. The simplest thing you could have done there is summon the DM, triggered Circle, and gone, look, you can also, after the Circle trigger, you can tribute the DM, get your Rod back, so you can play for next turn. Like, if they're not going to kill you, if they don't have a board to kill you, you know you're going to survive, get your resource back so you can actually play next turn. You're going to summon DM back next turn anyway. That was his combo. That was him showing us how to play the deck. Not only did he go, oh yeah, just have Circle hit Salvation, haha. Not only did he just lock out, he didn't even show the proper recycling of Rod. He mentioned it in the profile, didn't show it in the example. Which, look, people miss stuff all the time, but one of the simplest things he could have done was just scoop. Based. Well, that is the end of that profile. What do we think, fellas, of the Kiratwig2 profile from 3 months ago? 12k views. Whoa. 12k people getting a real bad deck profile. He was too afraid to shuffle. He was too afraid to shuffle the deck because he would have drawn 3 Eternal Souls. Honestly, he was playing 5 copies of it, basically. That is wild. Anyway. Do we want another profile? Yeah, 12k views. Shocking. Matchy, 2 months ago, has a video, test hands for DM. Only 6k views. Fellas, what is that? That is so rude. This video is infinitely more valuable than this video. 6k views versus 12k. Guys, this is depression. Rod can chain block Ghost Ogre on Circle. Based. Zamb, I cannot refer to that statement that you've mentioned. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know who you're talking about. Yep, that was a bad profile. And we got to do the Magician Souls rant again too. That was good.